News starts now with breaking news.
And that breaking news, Hurricane Harvey making landfall overnight as a Category 4 storm along the Texas Gulf Coast. We're getting our first look at the damage this morning from the coastal city of Rockport, Texas. Wind gusts of up to 130 miles per hour, knocking down signs and buildings, including a high school in the storm's path. Now, despite a mandatory evacuation being in place in Rockport, only about 60% of the population left. Debris is still filling the streets, making it very difficult for first responders to answer all of those emergency calls. Now, let's take a live look at Houston. Actually, this is the Gulf Coast here. This is Galveston. This is a live look. Sheets of rain coming down right now, and this is just the beginning. Of course, we told you that as soon as it hit landfall, it was a Category 4 storm. Now it's a Category 1 storm. We will show you the latest storm track in just a moment. We're talking about another live look here from Houston, where flooding is going to be a factor. There's flash flood warnings as well. ABC's Natasha Barrett live in Houston right now. We'll get to Natasha in just a few moments if we can. Hurricane Harvey, again, a Category 1 storm, packing up winds of up to 110 miles per hour. Originally, it made landfall as a Category 4, but despite the downgrade, it shows no signs of letting up as millions in its path are bracing for the worst of that storm. We're talking power outages, roadways being flooded. Let's get to Natasha Barrett now.
Hurricane Harvey roaring onto the Gulf Coast.
The best way I can describe it is a tin can being kicked down the road.
The strongest in the U.S. in more than a decade.
This is not anything that's going to be a quick one and done. We're not measuring in inches of rain, we're measuring in feet of rain.
Residents of Texas, Mississippi, and Louisiana getting hit the hardest. Rockport, Texas, right in its path. Trees tossed onto roads, buildings destroyed. Emergency crews facing difficulties responding to the damage.
I fear we're gonna really see some severe damage. We haven't been able to get out and see what we got going, but it's not looking good.
The mayor there urging those who stayed behind to write their name and social security number on their arms with a Sharpie. Residents of Corpus Christi under a voluntary evacuation order. Winds so powerful, they blew off this highway sign.
It's a constant howl out there. You hear the wind, you don't really hear the rain, even though the rain's going on. But, you know, the wind's definitely going. You can hear the boards on the house shaking.
Look at the panels.
Winds so fierce, they rattled the ceiling tiles at our affiliate KI. In Taft, Texas, a tree branch fell through this woman's home. The governor activating 1,300 members of the National Guard and pleading with residents who didn't evacuate to have a plan.
They need to be prepared to be without power and maybe have inadequate access to food and supplies for a couple of days.
And we've learned a tornado watch is in effect for parts of Texas and Louisiana until tomorrow. Now, out in Aransas County, crews are there on the ground, emergency crews, trying to assess the damage there. And in Rockport, people are being taken to the county jail after the roof of a senior housing complex collapsed. Natasha Barrett, ABC News, Houston.
And right now, hundreds of thousands of people are without power. And that's not all. Major flooding with up to 3 feet of rain. It's all expected in some areas. Hotels are underwater. There's no way to get in touch with emergency officials either.
Most of the roof is gone on this end of the building, and we're open to the elements. And I don't trust this building for the second half of this hurricane, so I think they're trying to make us go to a sturdier building.
Hopefully they can get to higher ground there. Tracking the storm this morning is meteorologist Sally Severson. And Sally, you've been tracking this path here that's kind of doing a strange loop-de-loop. Started as a Cat 4, now it's a Cat 1, but still providing so much rain in these areas.
Well, and it's so close to the Gulf of Mexico. I mean, it's just being fed with moisture, as you can see. And what we're looking at, Mr. Davenport earlier was talking about the dirty side of a hurricane. It's the area north and east of the hurricane. This is where you typically get the most rainfall. Now, we're keeping a close eye on the track of the storm, and as Melinda explained, it is a Category 1 at this point, with winds at about 80 miles an hour, moving to the northwest at 6 miles an hour. It will continue a slow north track, again, continuing to bring very heavy rain to eastern and southeast Texas, but watch what happens. Later today and tonight, it circles back around. It pretty much makes a U-turn and heads back toward the coastal area, and then Melinda will ultimately make another move to the north. But this storm impacts Texas for the next several days.
Well, our thoughts are with everyone in the storm's path south. Thank you. And President Trump says he has signed a disaster declaration for Texas. It offers federal aid to affected areas, and the White House says that the president will visit there early next week. This will be the first major natural disaster of his presidency. FEMA has sent life-saving resources, including generators, into the storm's expected path.
I think the president's allowing me to do my job, and we've been in constant contact with the White House. And the bottom line is that we are really focused right now on the life safety message that we're putting forward. And the president is fully engaged and will be so throughout this event.
The president is spending the weekend at Camp David, where he'll receive updated briefings throughout the weekend. Well, the hurricane is hitting hundreds of miles away, but here in southeast Wisconsin, we could feel Harvey's impact at the gas pump. Take a look at this map here. Yellow dots, those are oil refineries. Orange dots, rigs and platforms. 1/3 of the country's refineries are directly in the hurricane's path, and right now, no one is exactly sure how much of a price hike we can expect. Hurricane Harvey expected to impact air travel as well. Overnight, we learned the Corpus Christi airport closed and will not reopen until at least Monday. A check of the boards this morning at Mitchell International Airport show flights to and from Houston still on time, including a direct flight that was scheduled earlier this morning at 5:30. United, Southwest, and American Airlines offered waivers for passengers scheduled to fly to and from Houston and other Texas cities through Sunday. For more coverage on Hurricane Harvey, you can track the storm on WISN.com and also on the 12 News mobile app. And at 9 a.m., extended hurricane coverage coming from Good Morning America and ABC News. Well, breaking this morning in Milwaukee, one person is dead after a triple shooting at a Southside bar. This happened around 1:45 this morning near 5th and National. Police say the shooting killed a 23-year-old man and seriously injured another man. 23-year-old woman was also shot, but she's expected to be okay. Police are still investigating. No one is in custody this morning. 12 News Time, 8:06, and a first-of-its-kind gun show is in town as the NRA is hosting the Carry Guard Expo in downtown Milwaukee. As WISN 12 News' Kristen Byrne explains, it's the first time the public is welcome to join members of this kind of event.
I think it's a good turnout.
It's a chance for gun owners to check out new guns and new gear.
This is for my concealed carry gun. I got it because it's going to be easy to put in my waistband.
The NRA Carry Guard Expo is showcasing what's on the market for self-defense, literally modeling concealed carry accessories at a fashion show.
Everything is concealment. We manufacture these out of Fort Wayne. Everything is going to have a holster. It's going to be quick and easy.
But organizers say this event is much different than NRA meetings. First, it's open to the public, and the main theme is self-defense.
I think it's important to be able to defend ourselves and our families wherever we are.
But outside, protesters marched. Gun violence in the city, for them, a sore subject.
In a city like Milwaukee, full of pain and gun violence, a conceal and carry fashion show, which we deem irresponsible and insensitive.
Carrying cardboard gravestones with the names of gun violence victims. Their message, too many lives lost to guns.
We're trying to do the healing piece, and healing doesn't happen with weapons.
That was Kristen Byrne reporting. Developing overnight, North Korea has launched 3 ballistic missiles into the Sea of Japan, and that's all according to U.S. military officials. The U.S. Pacific Command says 2 missiles failed in flight and 1 appeared to blow up at launch. It also says the missiles pose no threat to Guam, and North Korea had previously warned that it would fire missiles toward the U.S. territory. President Trump has pardoned former Sheriff Joe Arpaio. Arpaio was convicted of disobeying court orders to stop his immigration patrols. He had been facing jail time, and Arpaio served as the sheriff of Maricopa County in Arizona for more than 2 decades. He was known for his tough stance on illegal immigration, and on Twitter tonight, Arpaio thanked President Trump. Also from the Trump administration this morning, National Security Advisor Sebastian Gorka no longer works at the White House. Gorka was a close ally for Steve Bannon, who left the West Wing last week as well. The Associated Press says Sebastian Gorka told them he resigned. Right now, 12 News continues to track Hurricane Harvey at 8:08 this morning on your Saturday. A local company makes some of the equipment that will help people through this storm.
Our employees are very proud to know that when there's a power outage, that we're potentially saving lives.
The life-saving tools that are made in Wisconsin. Plus, meteorologist Sally Severson is here with the continuing monitoring of Hurricane Harvey.
That's right. We'll continue to keep a close eye on what's happening in Texas, but I'll show you when rain arrives around here and your garden gets drink.
See you then, Sal. And live pictures as Hurricane Harvey has made landfall in southeast Texas. Breaking news on the storm throughout the newscast. Stick with us. You're watching 12 News This Morning.
When you're looking for